Hey there, party people. Emily McMichael at the Movement Clinic, and today I'm going to break down bird dog for you. There's a few names for this, but it might make more sense if I just show you the shape. But it's commonly known in the circles that I run in as bird dog. And essentially, this is the shape that we find from tabletop that is really great for not only kind of the core that we think of classically with the belly, also the back, but we also start to find a little bit of strength through our glutes. And it more or less looks like this, okay? And then we do these side to side, and often we kind of find that we're doing flows with bird dog or through bird dog. Okay, so super common in a lot of styles of yoga. Now, one thing that I do happen to see quite frequently in bird dog is kind of a letting go of the core, so that you see that there's kind of this sway back position. The low belly is really just dumping forward and isn't supporting the low back at all. So that as the leg comes up, we just kind of lift it up as high as it goes. Okay, as the leg moves back, we're going here. As the arm moves forward, we're just dumping into the shoulder to reach out, right? So we're not really helping ourselves at all with building these types of patterns with this pose. So let's break it down and help to find a little bit more engagement and awareness in all of these places that are ultimately going to transfer to other aspects of our practice and become really useful in creating more helpful patterns and habits in our movement. So let's go back to that right leg back, left arm forward. So first thing I want you to focus on is making sure that you plant your palms, fingers spread comfortably wide. We're gonna really root down through the L space of the thumb and forefinger so those forearms are squeezing in towards one another. Externally rotate the upper arm bones from there, or turn the eyes of the elbows forward, but keep the weight in the L space of the thumb and forefinger. And keep pressing away so much that you almost feel a sense of hollowing in your armpits. You might even reach up and grab and kind of feel like, oh yeah, there's some definition in this back flap and front flap of the armpit, or the lats and the pecs, okay? So if you can't feel it, just try to connect to the sensation of creating a sense of spaciousness in your armpits. Keep that. Lengthen forward through the crown of the head. Lift the throat into the back of the neck. Now the upper body is pretty well set. Notice where those low ribs are. They're probably lifted nicely into the back of the body, but keep squeezing the low floating ribs together. Cinch up your low belly, narrow your waist, and then from there, slowly float the right foot behind you. Start low. Now flex all 5 toes down towards the mat. Reach out through the inner heel powerfully as though you were pressing into a wall behind you. And then maybe start to lift from the inner thigh to bring the heel in line with your hip. Notice if here you're sagging into that outer left hip, hug it in towards the midline. Keep that. You might just be working from here. Or maybe start to get light on that left hand, press away through the right hand. Don't sag down, keep pressing away. Keep lengthening the ears out of the hips and reach your left arm out in front of you and really reach. Hug the low ribs in. Lift the belly button up and underneath those ribs. And slowly release. Excellent. Let's try it on the other side, because why not? Okay. So make sure to set up your tabletop so that you're nice and stacked. Stacked bones just provide for more stability. So again, knees underneath bony hip points, palms underneath your armpits, spread those fingers comfortably wide, root down through the L space of the thumb and forefinger and notice how your forearms squeeze in towards one another. Keep that. And then externally rotate your upper arm bones as the eyes of the elbows begin to face towards the top of your mat-ish, okay? I keep my toes tucked under for this, but you can plant the tops of the feet. That's totally up to you. Lengthen the ears out of the hips. You'll notice that as I do that, my throat lifts into the back of my neck. Keep that. Absorb the low ribs, narrow the waist, zip up your belly button. We're keeping this pelvis nice and neutral, and slowly send that left foot behind you. Keep it low to start. So all 5 toes are pointing straight down. And slowly begin to press away through that imaginary wall as you lift the inner thigh, or from the inner thigh, until heel comes in line with the hip-ish. You might stay pretty low, okay? That's all right. And then from here, if it feels okay, you might start to think about that right hand floating forward. Hug the hips in side to side so you're not sagging into that right hip as you reach your right arm forward and really reach forward through the right arm. Again, lengthen front and back in opposite directions. So you're reaching forward towards a hand you might shake and pressing that back inner heel back into that imaginary wall. Lift the front of the body into the back of the body, hold, and then slowly release. Go ahead and sink your hips to your heels, come to a seat, maybe take a quick rest in child's pose. And that is bird dog, or at least the foundations of a bird dog. So continue to practice this. Keep refining those cues or adding those cues and cycling through them each time that you practice, so that these very, very universal patterns that can be applied to other poses begin to really find their way into your body and your habits of movement. I hope this is helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you in class or for another pose breakdown.